Hey everybody, this is GGB, co-host Poppers, and we're going to go over the Conference USA Big 12 today. They'll be playing each other, the Conference USA Cowboys and the Big 12 49ers. I'll explain why both teams are there. Quarterback, Nick Mullins from Southern Miss, Jeff Driscoll, Louisiana Tech, Joe Webb, UAB. Running back, we have Aaron Jones, UTEP, Devin Singletary, FAU, and Ido Smith, Southern Mississippi. At fullback, we have Jameez Olalaway from North Texas. Wide receiver with T.Y. Hilton from FIU, Trent Taylor from Louisiana Tech, Zach Pascal from Old Dominion, and Tywan Taylor from Western Kentucky, and Richie James Jr. from Middle Tennessee State. At tight end, we have Tyler Higbee from Western Kentucky, Jack Doyle from Western Kentucky, and Vance McDonald from Rice. At left tackle, we have no one. At left guard, we have Will Hernandez from UTEP, and Forrest Lamp from Western Kentucky. At center, we have Cameron Tom from Southern Mississippi, and Chandler Brewer from Middle Tennessee State. Right guard, we have Nate Davis from Charlotte, and Darrell Williams from Western Kentucky. At right tackle, we have DeMar Dotson from Southern Mississippi, Chris Hubbard from UAB, George Fant from Western Kentucky, and Jordan Mills from Louisiana Tech. At left end, we have Roy Robertson Harrison from UTEP. At right end, we have Marcus Davenport from UTSA. We have Randy Gregory, but he's injured, so we can't remove him off the roster, so he's just stuck there. And we have Vinny Curry from Marshall and Trey Hendrickson from FAU. At defensive tackle, we have Larry Ogunjobi from Charlotte, Justin Ellis from Louisiana Tech, and Christian Covington from Rice. At left outside linebacker, we have Darius Taylor from FAU. From middle linebacker, we have Albert McKellen from Marshall, Neville Hewitt from Marshall as well, and Joel Iugbuniwe, sorry if I mispronounced that correctly, Western Kentucky. Jamie Collins from Southern Miss, Jalen Ferguson from Louisiana Tech, and O'Shane Azimis at right outside linebacker from Rice Callahan from Rice for corner, Darryl Roberts from Marshall, Trayvon Williams from Louisiana Tech, and Charvarius Ward from Middle Tennessee State. Free safety, we have Kevin Byard from Middle Tennessee State, and Xavier Woods from Louisiana Tech. At strong safety, we have Andrew Sendejo from Rice and Jonathan Cyprian from FIU. At kicker, we have Chris Boswell for Rice. And at punter, we have Ryan Allen from Louisiana Tech. By the way, if you don't know, Chris Boswell is the Steelers kicker. At 49ers, let's start at quarterback. We have Patrick Mahomes from Texas Tech, Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma, and Kyler Murray from Oklahoma as well. At running back, we have Joe Mixon from Oklahoma, Chris Carson from Oklahoma State, and Damian Williams from Oklahoma. At fullback, we have Aaron Ripkowski from Oklahoma. At wide receiver, we have Tyler Lockett from Kansas State, Kenny Stills from Oklahoma, Sterling Shepard from Oklahoma, Danny Amendola from Texas Tech, and Marquise Brown from Oklahoma. Tight end, we have Mark Andrews from Oklahoma, Blake Jarwin from Oklahoma State, and Jermaine Gresham from Oklahoma. At left tackle, we have Trent Williams from Oklahoma, Russell Okung from Oklahoma State. At left guard, we have Kalichi Asmeli from Iowa State, Quentin Spain from West Virginia, and Dalton Reisner from Kansas State. At center, we have Cody Whitehair from Kansas State and Connor Williams from Texas. At right guard, we have Mark Lewinsky from West Virginia. At right tackle, we have Lane Johnson from Oklahoma and Orlando Brown Jr. from Oklahoma. At left end, we have Gerald McCoy from Oklahoma, Alex Okafor from Texas, and Emmanuel Agba from Oklahoma State. At right end, we have Jerry Hughes from TCU. Defensive tackle, we have Andrew Billings from Baylor, Jordan Phillips from Oklahoma, and Poona Ford from Texas. At left outside linebacker, we have, we decided not to say. Anyways, if you didn't, Bruce Irvin from West Virginia, and A.J. Klein from Iowa State. Middle linebacker, we have Jordan Hicks from Texas, Nick Kwiatkowski from West Virginia, and Bryce Hogger from Baylor. Right outside linebacker, we have Sam Acho from Texas, Jordan Willis from Kansas State. At corner, we have Chris Harris Jr. from Kansas, Xavier Howard from Baylor, Aqib Talib from Kansas, and Trey Flowers from Oklahoma State. At free safety, we have Earl Thomas III from Texas and Quandre Diggs from Texas. Strong safety, we have Tony Jefferson II from Oklahoma and Kenny Vaccaro from Texas. At kicker, we have Justin Tucker, the Ravens kicker from Texas. And at punter, we have Tress Way, the former Redskins punter from Oklahoma. So the reason we have people, the coaches, let me explain to you the coaches. So the reason the Conference USA is the Cowboys is because the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, Mike Nolan, coached at Rice, which is what we do is we go off defensive and offensive coordinators if we don't have any head coaches that either went to or coached at a conference. So that's why Conference USA is that way. In the Big 12, Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers, actually did go to Texas. And if the reason it works like that is because that's what he does. I want to be as realistic as possible. So that's the best I can do. So it's exciting. That's the best I can do coaching-wise. I tried to make it as realistic as possible, so that's the way it worked for me. So, guys, if you watched the last episode that I posted yesterday, you might have noticed that I had a special co-host that day, and her name was Jill the Chainsmoker. And I'm going to start this new thing in the fourth quarter of all these games. I'm going to have a special co-host, and it'll be a different person each game. So we had Jill this time. We'll have 3 more for the next 3 games. And whoever gets the most likes on their video, the 3 people who get the most likes on their video will move on to the next round, the conference. And then whoever gets the two most on that one will move on to the conference. No, the 3 most liked here will move on to the divisionals. Then the 2 most liked will go on to the conference. Whoever gets the most likes there will co-host with me and Poppers for the Super Bowl. Anyways, let's get straight into it. Conference USA is actually it's a weird team because they can beat the Big 12. They came really close last year with Jeff Driscoll at quarterback. They have a different guy this year, Nick Mullins. Let's see if they can actually pull off the huge upset, one of the biggest upsets of the year in this tournament if they win. So it looks like they go running play. They go play action here. Trust Nick Mullins. Nice throw to Mr. Jack Doyle. Nice throw. They're catching the Big 12 defense on their heels here. Now, the strength of this team is its offense and Patrick Mahomes, and that's what took them all the way to the Super Bowl last year. It's not the defense. Defense is actually what lost them the game because Tom Brady scored the game-winning touchdown against this defense. But it does have some strong points. For instance, the secondary with Earl Thomas, Xavier Howard, Chris Harris Jr. It's a very talented secondary. Now, if I was the offense for the Conference USA, I would be going slants, very quick routes, so I can catch the linebackers, who is the main focal part. Defense. Okay, now on offense, let's look at this Conference USA offense. Okay, on offensive line, we have Chris Hubbard, Will Hernandez, Forrest Lamp, Nate Davis, and DeMar Dotson. And then the receiving core, T.Y. Hilton, Devin Singletary, Aaron Jones, Jack Doyle, and Zach Pascal. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this Conference USA offense can actually go get. See, the problem is the Conference USA does not have a great offensive line, which is one of its main points of weakness. If it could get better offensive line, I feel like it can be a real force to be reckoned with in this tournament, like the Independents. So anyways, Nick Mullins drops back to pass. He throws over the middle. Another pass to Jack Doyle. I think we know who Nick Mullins' favorite target is here early. Jack Doyle. Anyways, as you can see, it's really not that talented of a defensive line, but it's also not that talented of an offensive line. It's probably even worse on the offensive line side of things. So it looks like it's a running play. I think it's a running play. Yeah, it's a running play. So actually, Aaron Jones picks up a decent amount of yardage there. So it's going to be interesting to see if this works out the way many people think it would. So Big 12 is by far a favorite, and probably the 3rd favorite to go win it all, even though they're the number 6 seed. Obviously, the SEC is the favorite to go win it all. They have a really strong team this year on offense and defense. If Matt Stafford can get on point and throw good balls, then they should be a competitor to win it all. The Big 10 is also a huge team that could be very good. Okay, he misses Jack Doyle there. Well, let's look at this Big 12 defense. We'll get into it. Defensive line for the Big 12, we have Gerald McCoy, Andrew Billings, Jordan Phillips, and Jerry Hughes. And then linebacker core, you get Bruce Irvin, Nick Kwiatkowski, and A.J. Klein, who's my favorite. And secondary, Chris Harris Jr., Tony Jefferson, Earl Thomas, and Xavier Howard, which I'm saying the secondary is very strong. You can't go deep on this team. But if you could go tight end and get him matched up with a linebacker, you could end up getting a very good look there. He's probably outmatched. Linebacker, of course, not that good. So let's see. Nick Mullins drops back to pass. Oof, it looks like pressure's on. Oh, wait, never mind. So Nick Mullins has all the time in the world to throw. His offensive line's really holding him. Fires an absolute dime to Zach Pascal. Takes him inside the red zone to the 10-yard line. 1st and goal for this team. What a throw by Nick Mullins to get out of the pocket when it's crumbling and then just stand there and wait. Not take off prematurely and throw an absolute dime to Pascal. You can see those Cowboys fans in the stands. They're very excited. This is a surprising opening drive. I'm not going to lie. I expected them to maybe get a few yards in, like the Mountain West on the first drive. I expect them to go kind of like that. But they look like they're going to score on this drive. It's very cool. Interesting. So let's see what they do here. It looks like a running play. Yeah, they run it. Oh, that did not work out well. 1 rush, -1 yards for Devin Singletary. By the way, this Conference USA team could grow into a great team in the future. Probably, obviously, the six teams will all be at the top. Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, SEC, and the FCS/Division 2/Division 3. Because always good players are going to come out of that, and it's a whole bunch of schools mixed together. So they're always going to get good quality players. So let's see what they do here. It looks like a run. But they don't bring a lot of tight ends. Okay. And he scans the field. He throws. Oh, nice read to Jameez Olawale, the fullback for him. So let's see what they do on 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. I think I'd run it, but I just haven't had much success on the ground so far. So maybe like a fullback run would not be out of the question here. Maybe a QB dive. Maybe even a fade route to TY. So let's see if they go with any of those options here. It actually looks like a throwing pattern. Oh, no, they go blocking and walking for Aaron Jones. What a well-designed play by Jason Garrett. I don't get to say that very often. Because we all know Jason Garrett's just not that good at calling plays. He's just not. He's really not that great. That's why he's no longer the Cowboys head coach, and we have Mike McCarthy as the head coach now. So we get to... But the Conference USA could become a Mountain West type of team because the Mountain West has punched its ticket to the divisionals both times this thing has gone on. See? So it's just really interesting if Conference USA can really become that, become like the next become like a Mountain West type team. Independence is also a very good football team that's like that. I would also say American, but American have never won in this tournament yet, so I really can't say American anymore. They're just really not that good. Although, if they could get a good quarterback, I feel like they could be a real threat in these playoffs. But yeah, Conference USA, it can become a really good team. But if it could upset it here and start an upset, it could be for March Madness fans out there, it could be Loyola Chicago again. So let's see. I think that's Tyler Lockett. He took it out of the end zone. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's see. The starting quarterback is Mr. Patrick Mahomes. 50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 5,097 yards. He had an amazing 2018 season. If you look at the 2018 season, it was a little bit of a digress, but I mean, he got the stats weren't the same, but the victory, winning it all in the Super Bowl for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. And if you guys wonder how I rank head coaches, it's just how far you took so I go draft order, and that's the way it is. So for instance, according to the draft order, which is probably not realistic in real life, Kyle Shanahan is the second best head coach in the NFL, which probably isn't true. So Patrick Mahomes drops back to pass. He reads his surroundings. He is forever in the pocket. He throws a dime and is dropped. Okay. So that might be a problem. So let's look at this Big 12 offense and offensive line. We have Trent Williams, Kalichi Asmeli, Cody Whitehair, Quentin Spain, and Lane Johnson. The receiving core, we have Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson, Joe Mixon, Mark Andrews, and Kenny Stills. Which, the Big 12 is really not that strong of a team if you look at it.
if you take away Mahomes. With Mahomes, though, it is a fantastic squad. So let's see what they do here on 2nd and 10. He hands it off to Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon gets stuffed. So let's look at this Conference USA defense. On the defensive line, we start out with Vinny Curry, Larry Ogunjobi, Justin Ellis, and Marcus Davenport. Linebackers, we get Jalen Ferguson, Darius Taylor, and Jamie Collins. And in the secondary, Bryce Callahan, Anderson Dejo, Kevin Byard, and Tremont Williams. So, 3rd and 7. Let's see if Conference USA can hold him here, or if Patrick Mahomes does his Mahomes magic and pulls off, gets some first down. So let's see. He goes 5 wide here. Drops back to pass. He's forever, and he scans the field and throws it right to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews gets a big pickup. And I would not be surprised if the Big 12 went to Mark Andrews a lot today. Number 1, Mark Andrews is a very, very good tight end. But number 2 is what I think is the Niners and Kyle Shanahan. He is not an Andy Reid where in the game he's going to change his style of play suddenly. He's not going to do that. In Madden, if you notice, Sean Payton and Andy Reid and other really great head coaches will scheme around the players that they have. For instance, we all know Mahomes is not an option guy. Ooh, nice strip off the tackle, but we all know Mahomes is not an option guy, and he was put into the... Wait, no. We all know Andy Reid and Mahomes isn't an option guy, and they don't normally do options in their offense, but last year the independent Chiefs, their starting quarterback was Deshaun Kaiser, and immediately Andy Reid started doing option plays, which is pretty impressive considering he just automatically changes his playbook for the players that are around him. This year also they went run oriented in the game against the American Steelers. They went option as well with Taysom Hill at quarterback, and that's just not the style of offense that they normally run there. So it's very interesting. Another first down to Mark Andrews. I think it's Mark Andrews. No, that's not Mark Andrews. That's not me. That's Kenny Stills. But it's interesting. So, but anyways, they're gonna go to tight ends a lot because that's Kyle Shanahan's offense. If you think about the Niners in real life, their biggest target there is George Kittle, and George Kittle's amazing there. So really, that is what you need to worry about. You got to cover those tight ends. They're the big threat. So let's see. This looks like a running play since they brought Ripkowski on the field. It's definitely a running play. It's stuffed immediately. This defense is doing really well against the run, and it's not doing that bad against the pass either. Just those 2 third downs they let up conversions for. Honestly, this Conference USA team is looking very stout, and even if they don't win this game, which I think they could, there's definitely a possibility there. They have a lot to look forward to in the future. They've got a lot of young, good players. So anyways, suspect a pass. He throws it to Marquette. Throws it to Kenny Stills, and it's dropped. So 3rd and 8 again. Let's see if Mahomes can work his magic, or if we're going to have a field goal from Justin Tucker coming up. Ba-doop. Tyler Lockett has been really quiet this game. I mean, although it hasn't been that... Well, it's just the opening drive, but all the balls have went to Kenny Stills or Mark Andrews so far. So they bring a blitz. He gets hit. They're throwing it. Throws a perfect pass to Mark Andrews, who walks into the end zone. Goes a little between the legs action. A little layup. But anyways, that was almost a good read by Mahomes. He was getting hit, and he threw an absolute dime to Mark Andrews. So, anyways, let's see if we'll get a rebuttal by Nick Mullins. We'll see if he can bring his team down the field as well and score a touchdown. So, it's definitely going to be interesting. Cowboys, I think they go normally, I think a run game is huge for them. So, I don't know if Jason Garrett's going to change his strategy there. Run game seems like a really important in their offense normally. And they normally don't run options with Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott's too he's mobile. Like, it'd be like running options with Russell Wilson. Like, Russell Wilson's mobile, but he's not run options mobile. Like, Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson, and Taysom Hill, they're both run options mobile. But that's just not Dak Prescott's style. Not his cup of tea. So, anyways, looking at the next year for both these teams, I don't have either of these teams making the playoffs in my prediction. Actually, I have. That's not true. Okay, I don't have either of these teams winning their divisions in my predictions. If you don't know, there's been a thing with the NFC the past few years. Okay, so as far back as I can go. So, the farthest back I go, I remember anyways. But the Panthers Broncos Super Bowl. If any of you guys remember that, anyways, there's a return. In the Broncos Panthers Super Bowl, the Broncos ended up winning, right? The Panthers won the NFC that year. The next year, the Falcons won the division, correct? So, the Panthers won the NFC. The following year, they didn't win their division, okay? We all know what happened with the Falcons. They blew one of the biggest leads ever in Super Bowl history. But they won the NFC that year. The next following year, the Saints won the NFC South. And the Falcons still made the playoffs, but they didn't win their own division. That year, the Eagles won the NFC. The next year, the Cowboys won the NFC East. And that year, the Rams won the NFC. You know what happened last year? The Niners won the NFC West. So it's kind of a thing. If you win the NFC, you don't even win your division the next year. So that was a gutsy throw there to Jack Doyle. But I guess if you have a playmaker like Jack Doyle on your team, you got to get him the ball because he's the most. Honestly, though, I don't understand why they're not targeting T.Y. Hilton earlier. T.Y. Hilton's a very big part of their game. They definitely need to target him. So I'm going to have, I think in my predictions, I have the Niners getting a wild card seeding. I think I actually have the Cards winning that NFC West division. Just because if you look at that team, that offense is stacked. And that's how I kind of look at divisions on who's going to win. Like, for instance, who is the best quarterback in the NFC North? And in my opinion, it's Matt Stafford. So I'm picking Stafford to win the NFC North this year. That's just the way I think my brain works. I honestly think the Lions are going to win the division just the way the NFC North normally works. Packers won it this year. Bears won it last year. And then 2 years ago, the Vikings won it. So I just kind of think that's the way the NFC North division kind of works. It kind of goes in a cycle. But if you look at all the teams around them, the Vikings just fell apart. There's just been a mass exodus in Minnesota. And I just don't think they're going to be that good next year, even though they made the playoffs this year. The Bears, Trubisky can be better, and I actually think Bears are going to be my wild card pick. I think Trubisky, once they learned how to play with him at the end of the year, they actually played really well as a team, and Trubisky didn't play poorly as a quarterback as well. What a punt. What a punt, especially since he's not Ryan Allen. He's not that great of a punter overall-wise, but still, pinning him deep. It's a great punt. But Trubisky got better as the year went along, but still, I think Stafford has a better offense overall together. I mean, if you look at his offense, Matt Stafford can carry the whole thing, but Kenny Golladay is a great receiver. Danny Amendolan's a great slot man. As you can see, he's one of the players in this game. And you'll see Kenny Golladay next week. And Marvin Jones Jr. in the conference because he plays for the Pac-12 because he went to California. So anyways, Patrick Mahomes goes play action. They bring a blitz, but it's just not getting there. He fires. Oh, miss. That's a rare miss for Mahomes. Anyways. That's why the NFC West. So I'm looking at the NFC West. I think there's two really good quarterbacks there. And I think it's Jimmy G's okay. Like, Jimmy G can get that team to the playoffs. No doubt. But I think, Aaron Ripkowski. Wow, that's an odd play call. But, again, this is the Niners. And who's on the Niners in real life is Kyle Juszczyk. and he's one of the best fullbacks in the league. So they're fine handing it off to the fullback in real life. I don't know. Now is their Big 12 and Aaron Ripkowski's your fullback if that's the best decision, but that's just the way Kyle Shanahan's mind works. So you just gotta accept it. So they bring a blitz 5-man rush, and he throws it across his body and to Joe Mixon, and he picks up the first down, 10 yards. But Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray are probably the best quarterbacks, in my opinion, in the NFC West. But the problem is Russell Wilson doesn't have a team built around him. Kyler Murray does. And there's just as long as I've been watching it, sophomore quarterbacks make the playoffs. So if you look at it 2 years ago, you got Patrick Mahomes, Sean Watson, and Mitchell Trubisky all made the playoffs that year. They were all sophomores. This year, we got Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen in the playoffs. I gotta think some of the 5 starting sophomore quarterbacks this year, some will make the playoffs. And I'm thinking Kyler Murray is probably... He throws what a dime. Lockett. Mahomes is not being helped by his receivers today. 2nd and 10. Anyways. What am I thinking? Mahomes is the best. Never mind. I was saying Kyler Murray has a great offense built around him. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who's coming back. Christian Kirk's a very good young star. Nice hit in the backfield, but he strips off the tackle. You gotta wrap him up there. Anyways, they have a very good young talent in Christian Kirk. Larry Fitzgerald's a very solid veteran, and include that, you have a very impressive looking slot guy in Andy Amendola. And you have that's a good team built together. Also, you include the fact that Kenyon Drake lit it up at the end of the year. It was Tremont Williams who missed that tackle, if you wanted to know. But the Cardinals, in my opinion, are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. And they're going to be like how people looked at the Niners. At least I looked at the Niners right before the season started. I'm like, they look tough. Like, that defensive line looks stout. If Jimmy G doesn't get hurt, the Niners can be very good. And then they turned out to be very, very, very good. But if you look at Kyler Murray's team this year, that looks stout. And very, very much can make the playoffs. What, almost a pick. Anyway, 2nd and 10. But so that's why I think the Cardinals are going to win the NFC West. And the reason I don't think the Seahawks are is just because Russell Wilson is a very good quarterback. I agree. But I just think the Cardinals have a better overall team. They do have some weak spots, yes. If you could build, like, anyone on defense would be helpful, because at this point the defense is not that great. And if you can get an offensive lineman, that would be ideal. So in the first round, get a good offensive lineman. Maybe if Tristan Wirfs comes down to you, slips down, you can end up getting him for a bargain and great left tackle. But they could be a hard team to beat next year. And they're one of my 2 sophomore quarterbacks I have making the playoffs. Let's see. Oh, what a catch by Mark Andrews. That wasn't bad coverage by 34. If he could get, I think that's Jeff Heath. I'm not positive, but I think it's Jeff Heath. Oh, wait, never mind. What am I saying? Jeff Heath is from Saginaw Valley, not. It's Andrew Sendejo. That's on me. Anyways, Mark Andrews is obviously a huge target here. Earlier, like what I said, they love tight ends in San Francisco, especially since they've had George Kittle. Niners are so good in real life, but the problem is they just traded away that defensive lineman. Dang, I forgot what his name was. DeForest Buckner? Is that the one they traded away? They just have so many. He's a big part of their offense. Like, recovery there. And it wasn't an ideal throw by Mahomes. Not a great one, but 25 really came back to that ball and swatted it away. I thought he was beat for a touchdown there, but he came back for that. That was great. Good play by that man. Okay, that looks like a run there. It looks like he's lining up in a running formation. Oh, no. They go 2 tight end package, and that's just the way they... Okay, gets to him. Just dumps him off short to Mixon. We get a tackle. 3rd and 4. Let's see if they can convert or if we're going to be seeing a field goal kick from Justin Tucker. I mean, that would be a long one. What would it be, like something 50-something? Tackled immediately by number 1. Number one. Jalen Ferguson. By the way, Conference USA, Jalen Ferguson and O'Shane Zemenies, they could both grow up to be amazing pass rushers, and we could see both of them on the edges rushing the passer. They're amazing, and they could be very good in a few years. And yeah, see how long it's taking them to get to the quarterback? What a throw, though. Honestly, on the money to... Wait, who's that? Jermaine... Oh, no, that's Sterling Shepard. What a throw. That's an on-the-money pass to Sterling Shepard. Just absolutely accurate as possible. Just dropping it in there, and that's what Mahomes does so well. Just look, makes it look effortless, but it was a perfect... Anyways, they actually have some very good members of this defense. Kevin Byard will hopefully be very good for years to come on this team, and he's going to... If they want to win, he's going to have to step it up on his the defensive side because he is one of their best players. He just needs to... Okay, they hand it off to Mixon. Wide open hole. Touchdown. So, good job for Joe Mixon. He did... That was a nice run. Dove straight in the end zone. That was a smart thing to do so that you didn't have to run through anyone. Talking on the sidelines, you're like, you know what we should do? We should go get some melting pot after this. That is exactly what they said. I have inside information. Anyways, it's very interesting. If you guys please enjoy this, please like and subscribe for these videos. I mean, it takes a lot of work to make these videos. If you didn't know, I gotta make every single one of these rosters by hand, which means I have to first go through all NFL players to see where they went to college and get the best of all the positions for each of the conferences. So it does take a lot of work. And then for schools like SEC, ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12, there's cap space, so I have to add players. And then once I run out of cap space, make them kickers and then cut them and then sign them back as kickers. It takes hours upon hours to build these rosters, not including the time it takes to make these videos for you guys. So it would really help for my self-esteem to know that my time wasn't completely and utterly wasted if you guys could like and subscribe to these videos. It takes a lot of work. Okay, so let's see the return. I believe who is the returner for this team? I feel like it's... Oh, who is it? Please tell me. 80. Who are you? Who are you? Doesn't want to tell me who 80 is. 80. Who are you? Anyways, let's see if Aaron Jones and Nick Mullins and T.Y. Hilton. Maybe if T.Y. Hilton could get involved, they'd be ahead right now because T.Y. Hilton is a really good playmaker, and they really just haven't been using him at all this game. And on top of that, Trent Taylor is a really fast individual. And even if he's not that great, if he can just catch the ball, he could probably... Great slot guy. I think they should be using him wisely. So they run it. Ooh, that was a nice run after getting hit by Aaron Jones. But he still has only 6 rushes for 11 yards. He did have the touchdown, but it was... Again, that run was only 2 yards. He's averaging, not even 2 yards a carry. At this point, it's 1 point something. Let's see. 2 minute. Oh, wait, dang. It's not the second quarter yet. 2 minutes left. 55, actually. So I see Nick Mullins drops back to pass. He has really all the time in the world. He throws it. Bam. He's been accurate this game, I think. Who's that? Is that Zach Pascal? I think it's Zach Pascal. So we know Zach Pascal's not the returner because his number's 84. We see 80. Remember the number 80. Because he's the guy that returns the ball. Anyways, it's enjoyable. So let's see. T.Y. Hilton really has not been involved this much. But offensively, they've been doing pretty well. Without involving one of their best players on this team, they've been doing fantastic on the offensive end. This looks like a run. This is a mistake. And I think that's A.J. Klein. He just comes up and stuffs it. Now he's rushing for 7 rushes for 8 yards. That's bad. That is barely averaging a yard per carry. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the difference between the bad teams and the good teams is the difference between the offensive line. If your offensive line's good, then you can run the ball and you can pass the ball. Even, for instance, the SEC is better than teams like, I would say, the MAC, because even though the MAC has a better quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, they don't have as good of an offensive line, and Stafford has forever back there to throw. And he's stuffed immediately again. 8 rushes for 9 yards. That is, again, barely averaging 1 yard per carry. That is bad. Bad. But Nick Mullins is really carrying this team. Let's see if he can pick up this first down, or if they're going to be forced to punt it. Let's see. Drops back to pass. He has pretty good cover. Oh, no. Just short of the first down. Go for it, Jason Garrett. Go for it. Go for it, Jason Garrett. Garrett, go for it. Please. That's the smart thing to do. You're in San Francisco territory. You're basically too far back to punt. I mean, you're too far back to kick a field goal. Go for it. It is 4th and 1. Let's see now. It's going to be the end of this episode. Anyways, this is GGB, co-host Popper, saying thank you guys for watching. It was a lot of fun to make, but likes and subscribes would make it even more fun to make. Anyways, this is GGB, co-host Popper, saying adios, amigos.